I invoke the blessings of gods that may God make this presentation obstruction free and very fruitful to me and to all the attendees.
Good day. You're welcome to this soft skills training module titled Manners and Etiquettes. Today is Saturday, the 13th of June, 2020. This is an hour-long session. For the purpose of better understanding, this session has been divided into 6 sections: Etiquette Basics, Dining and Table Manners, Dressing Sense, Body Language, Interview Skills, and Networking. So each of these is a topic in itself, but since this presentation is tailor-made for students and professionals of the hospitality industry, so basic training in all of these has already been imparted. Today, we wish to take you to the advanced level and assume that if you pay sufficient attention, you'll have taken a substantial take home. You'll gain tremendously, we promise.
Etiquettes. The quality of the true gentleman measured by what he is and what he does, never by what he has. It is a code of instinctive decency, ethical integrity, self-respect, and loyalty. A knowledge of etiquette is of course essential to one's decent behavior, just as clothing is essential to one's decent appearance. These are the quotes on etiquette by Emily Post. The true gentleman is the man whose conduct proceeds from goodwill and an acute sense of propriety, and whose self-control is equal to all emergencies, who does not make the poor man conscious of his poverty, the obscure man of his obscurity, or any man of his inferiority or deformity, who is himself humbled if necessary, compels him to humble another, who does not flatter wealth, cringe before power, or boast of his own possessions or achievements, who speaks with frankness but always with sincerity and sympathy, whose deed follows his word, who thinks of the rights and feelings of others rather than his own, and who appears well in any company, a person to whom honor is sacred and virtue safe. These golden lines were written by John Walter Wayland. Good manners means using common sense, knowing what to do when, and being thoughtful. Good manners are the first mark of good breeding and reflect directly on a person's upbringing. When you see someone with lots of packages about to come to a closed door, isn't holding the door for this person common sense? When you get a seat on a bus and an elderly person doesn't get a seat, isn't giving your seat to that person common sense? After you use a knife to spread butter on your bread, doesn't it make sense to place the knife back on the plate and not on the tablecloth where it creates a mess and creates stains too? How does etiquette benefit you? Manners ease the stress of communal living, and mannerly behavior recognizes the rights of others to share communal space. Etiquettes differentiate you from others in a competitive job market. Etiquettes enable you to be confident in a variety of settings with a variety of people. Etiquette honors commitment to excellence and quality. It modifies distracting behaviors and develops admired conduct. Be one step ahead. Practice the social skills necessary and create a great first impression and stand out in the competitive job market. I have begun this presentation with quotes from very senior people, very accomplished and successful people, just to highlight the importance of etiquettes and manners. What is etiquette? The forms and practices prescribed by social convention or by authority. The forms and practices prescribed by social convention or by authority. Some critical etiquette topics to consider: modern mannerism and etiquette basics, dining and table manners, dressing sense, body language, interview techniques, and networking. These are the 6 points that today's presentation has been divided into: modern mannerism, dining manners, dressing sense, body language, interview techniques, and networking. Etiquette basics, creating a positive image. How should our behavior be? We should exhibit a positive attitude and a pleasant demeanor. We should use a firm handshake, even though handshakes are not allowed these days, but maybe perhaps assuming that we are wearing gloves, we should firmly shake the person's hand. Maintain good eye contact. A positive image can be created by giving appropriate introductions. Introduce someone by their title and their last name. Mr., Mrs., Mr., Doctor, or just plain Sir, unless otherwise specified. Rise when you are introducing someone or you are being introduced. Non-verbal communication is important. Show common respect and consideration for others. Etiquette for the true gentleman. Handshakes are vital in social situations. If not handshake, slightly bow your head and join your hands together and say namaste. Develop a comfortable handshake and keep it consistent. Handshakes should not be too hard or too soft. Make a solid connection of the web skin between the thumb and the forefinger. Between the thumb and the forefinger, make a solid connection. Solid connection. And then grab the hand firmly but not too firmly. The host or person with the most authority usually initiates the handshake. Eye contact is another critical factor when meeting people. Eye contact increases trust, it shows confidence and good interpersonal skills. Eye contact shows confidence and good interpersonal skills. Eye contact shows respect for the person and the business. Etiquettes for the true gentleman. Proper introductions help to establish rapport when meeting people. Authority defines whose name is said first. Say the name of the most important person first and then the name of the person being introduced. So it would go like, Principal Sir, I invoke the blessings of gods that may God make this presentation obstruction free and very fruitful to me and to all the attendees.
Good day. You're welcome to this soft skills training module titled Manners and Etiquettes. Today is Saturday, the 13th of June, 2020. This is an hour-long session. For the purpose of better understanding, this session has been divided into 6 sections: etiquette basics, dining and table manners, dressing sense, body language, interview skills, and networking. Even though each of these is a topic in itself, but since this presentation is tailor-made for students and professionals of the hospitality industry, so basic training in all of these has already been imparted. Today, we wish to take you to the advanced level and assume that if you pay sufficient attention, you'll have taken a substantial take home. You'll gain tremendously, we promise.
Etiquettes. The quality of the true gentleman measured by what he is and what he does, never by what he has. It is a code of instinctive decency, ethical integrity, self-respect, and loyalty. A knowledge of etiquette is of course essential to one's decent behavior, just as clothing is essential to one's decent appearance. These are the quotes on etiquette by Emily Post. The true gentleman is the man whose conduct proceeds from goodwill and an acute sense of propriety, and whose self-control is equal to all emergencies, who does not make the poor man conscious of his poverty, the obscure man of his obscurity, or any man of his inferiority or deformity, who is himself humbled if necessary, compels him to humble another, who does not flatter wealth, cringe before power, or boast of his own possessions or achievements, who speaks with frankness but always with sincerity and sympathy, whose deed follows his word, who thinks of the rights and feelings of others rather than his own, and who appears well in any company, a person to whom honor is sacred and virtue safe. These golden lines were written by John Walter Wayland. Good manners means using common sense, knowing what to do when, and being thoughtful. Good manners are the first mark of good breeding and reflect directly on a person's upbringing. When you see someone with lots of packages about to come to a closed door, Isn't holding the door for this person common sense? When you get a seat on a bus and an elderly person doesn't get a seat, isn't giving your seat to that person common sense? After you use a knife to spread butter on your bread, doesn't it make sense to place the knife back on the plate and not on the tablecloth where it creates a mess and creates stains too? How does etiquette benefit you? Manners ease the stress of communal living, and mannerly behavior recognizes the rights of others to share communal space. Etiquettes differentiate you from others in a competitive job market. Etiquettes enable you to be confident in a variety of settings with a variety of people. Etiquette honors commitment to excellence and quality. It modifies distracting behaviors and develops admired conduct. Be one step ahead. Practice the social skills necessary and create a great first impression and stand out in the competitive job market. I have begun this presentation with quotes from very senior people, very accomplished and successful people, just to highlight the importance of etiquettes and manners. What is etiquette? The forms and practices prescribed by social convention or by authority. The forms and practices prescribed by social convention or by authority. Some critical etiquette topics to consider: modern mannerism and etiquette basics, dining and table manners, dressing sense, body language, interview techniques, and networking. These are the 6 points that today's presentation has been divided into: modern mannerism, dining manners, dressing sense, body language, interview techniques, and networking. Etiquette basics: creating a positive image. How should our behavior be? We should exhibit a positive attitude and a pleasant demeanor. We should use a firm handshake, even though handshakes are not allowed these days, but maybe perhaps assuming that we are wearing gloves, we should firmly shake the person's hand. Maintain good eye contact. A positive image can be created by giving appropriate introductions. Introduce someone by their title and their last name: Mr., Mrs., Mr., Doctor, or just plain Sir, unless otherwise specified. Rise when you are introducing someone or you are being introduced. Non-verbal communication is important. Show common respect and consideration for others. Etiquette for the true gentleman. Handshakes are vital in social situations. If not handshake, slightly bow your head and join your hands together and say namaste. Develop a comfortable handshake and keep it consistent. Handshake should not be too hard or too soft. Make a solid connection of the web skin between the thumb and the forefinger. Between the thumb and the forefinger, make a solid connection. Solid connection. And then grab the hand firmly but not too firmly. The host or person with the most authority usually initiates the handshake. Eye contact is another critical factor when meeting people. Eye contact increases trust, it shows confidence and good interpersonal skills. Eye contact shows confidence and good interpersonal skills. Eye contact shows respect for the person and the business. Etiquettes for the true gentleman. Proper introductions help to establish rapport when meeting people. Authority defines whose name is said first. Say the name of the most important person first and then the name of the person being introduced. So it would go like, Principal sir, please meet Mr. XYZ, who is an employee of XYZ working as XYZ. Introduce people in the following order: younger to older. Always remember younger to older, non-official to official, junior executive to senior executive, and colleague to customer. Younger to older. So, for example, if a 30-year-old comes to my office, then he will be introduced to me, not me to him. So here is Mr. Abhishek. Not Mr. Abhishek, you are in the office of the principal. Not like this. But Mr. Abhishek, you are in the office of the principal. Mr. Anand Mittal, like this. Tips to remember: keep the introductions basic. Remember names for future reference. Provide some information about the people you're introducing. Always carry business cards. And keep notes on people in order to follow up on both personally and professionally. I do this. I write down names of the people that I'm meeting and their designation and their company, so that whenever I address them during the day, during the course of the day, I do not make a mistake. Etiquette for true gentlemen: open and hold doors for others. Take my seat. Show respect to weak, infirm, the fairer sex, and elderly. Is this yours? It's nice to meet you. These are some good things to say. Say, excuse me, please, and thank you as often as you can. Recognize right of way of others. Spitting in the street is considered to be very bad manner. Do not pass wind or piddle in public. Do not burp in public. Do not pick your nose in public. Do cover your mouth when yawning or coughing, always with a handkerchief or using your hand. Today it has become a compulsion. You cannot cough, sneeze, or yawn in the public with an open mouth. You need to absolutely cover it. If you don't have a handkerchief, you can use your hand to cover your face, or you can use your elbow to cover your mouth. Walking 2 or 3 about, let me carry that. May I get you something? Always return a borrowed item. Be punctual. Apply constant verbal grace. A smiling face is a welcoming face. Tip well and discreetly. Any personal hygiene is strictly followed. Avoid talking loudly in public. There are different etiquettes for the road, on telephone, on mobile, on the internet, by email, by correspondence, and there are country specific etiquettes. So almost every country has its own etiquettes, the code of conduct.
All good,
All
I
good,
hope
I
so
hope so
far.
far.
May I
May I
suggest
suggest?
that you take notes, keep a pen and notebook at hand, lest you lose some of the pearls of wisdom. This presentation, containing 60 slides, is not a day or a week's work. It is the result of months of research by a team of people. Not only has it been validated by many, it has also received accolades, praises from many. And needless to mention, we are available on live chat. So you and us can chat live while this presentation is going on. So get busy, people, take notes, interact with us, ask us questions, post comments, opinions, and suggestions. Share your experiences with us, with the whole world. And once again, needless to mention, please know that the whole world is watching us all the way. This broadcast on YouTube is live for public with no restrictions on who can watch and who is not allowed to watch. Moving on.
The weather is amazing in Dehradun. The clouds are rumbling. Any moment it is going to rain. I'm sitting on the terrace and I've already invoked the blessings of God. So I can promise you it is not going to rain till I finish this presentation. Okay, we move on to the next section of our presentation. The first section was about etiquettes. Now we will move on to the second section, which is about dining appropriately. Shirley Wiley, owner of Etiquette and Company, California, reports that roughly 80% of second interviews involve a business meal. It is very important for us to know the etiquettes of dining. In India also, there are many social get-together and meetings over meals. Interactions over dining table help you in networking. Here are some dining basics. Arrive on time to the dinner table. Wait to sit until the host or hostess indicated seating arrangement. Put napkin in lap before drinking or eating. Order easy to eat food. Don't order the most expensive menu items on the menu. Wait until everyone has been served before you begin to eat. Bring food to your mouth, not your head to the plate. Salt, pepper, pass together. Generally pass food to the right. Rest utensils on plate while talking. Do not talk with your mouth full. Do not chew with your open mouth. Do not make noise with your utensils, particularly the forks and spoons. Hold knife and fork appropriately. Elbows must not rest upon the table while any food is present. To show that one has not yet finished eating, utensils are rested apart on the plate. They are placed together, fork to the left, knife to the right, when one has finished. Do not play with the food. Always pour a bottled beverage into a glass and refrain from spilling. Don't drink directly from the bottle. If at all possible, refrain from coughing or from sneezing at a table, and if it needs to be done, then please cover your mouth and face and turn your head away. Soup is to be lifted by the spoon in movements away from oneself, not toward. So when you take soup, you move the spoon away from yourself and lift. Down, away from yourself, lift and eat. And do not bring your head close to the soup. Away from yourself, lift and eat. Fingers are not to be used except in the case of bread and other such food. The fork is used to convey any solid food to the mouth. The teaspoon must be removed from the cup before drinking. Do not lick your knife. The napkin is kept in the lap and never tucked in the collar, in the lap. Drink all drinks and soups noiselessly. Now, for most of you, this would be very familiar, but for those of you who do not know about what arrangement this is, let me quickly explain this to you. See, the golden rule is from the last inwards. I'm talking about the cutlery. So at the end, you see a salad fork. Salad fork is kept on the extreme left. So first you begin with the salad, then on the extreme right you see a spoon. Now that spoon is meant for the soup, and then you start moving inwards. The fish knife and fish fork, and then after the fish is served and the meat is served, then you use the meat knife and the meat fork. On the tip of the largest knife you will see a glass. This glass is usually for water, and then there are subsequent 3 more glasses which are for wines. On the top of the plate, you see a dessert spoon and fork, which will be used only for the dessert. And on the left, you see a butter knife which is placed on a bread and butter plate, which is kept on the left of the large plate. And this that you see on top is a butter dish. So the golden rule is you start from the cutlery and cutlery which is placed on the extremes, and then you move inwards one by one, so that you eat with the right cutlery. Proper posture is very important. Table manners indicate no gum, no elbows on the table. Use the words please and thank you as often as you can. Turn your cell phone off. Do not keep your mobile on the table. Do not keep your mobile on the table. Be responsible for keeping up and positively contributing to the conversation. Small talk is appropriate. Topics such as books, sports, food, theater, travel, current events is alright. Please do not bring religion. Please do not bring defecation. Please do not bring sex into your conversation. And the best rule is to follow the employer's lead. Eat with a fork or spoon unless the food is meant to be eaten with fingers. Don't stuff your mouth full of food, it looks gross and they could choke. Chew with your mouth closed. No one wants to be grossed out seeing food being chewed or hearing it being obsessed on. This includes no talking with your mouth full. Don't make any rude comments about the food being served. It will hurt someone's feelings. Always say thank you when served something. Thank you shows appreciation. If the meal is not buffet style, then wait until everyone is served before eating. It shows consideration. Eat slowly, don't gobble up the food. Someone took a long time to prepare the food. Enjoy it slowly. Slowly means to wait, to chew your food well before swallowing, before getting another forkful. When eating rolls, break off the piece of bread before buttering. Eating a whole piece of bread looks tacky. Break, apply butter, and then eat. Bread is normally eaten with the hand. Bread plate is kept on the left, so bread is picked up from the left, broken, remaining bread put back, butter dish, knife, apply, and then eat with the hand. Don't reach over someone's plate for something. Ask for the item to be passed to you. It shows consideration. Do not pick anything out of your teeth. It is gross. If it bothers you that bad, excuse yourself, go to the restroom and pick and cough and fart as much as you want. Never. Always use a napkin to dab your mouth, which should be on your lap when not in use. Remember, dab your mouth only. Do not wipe your face or blow your nose with the napkin. Both are gross. Dab. Only dabbing. No, and even if there's something wrong, even then, please remember the effort has been put in. Foodstuffs have been bought from the market, they've been processed, they've been cooked, they've been served. Now, We should never criticize food. I never criticize food unless when I'm judging. When I'm judging and it's a competition, then things are different. Indian table manners. You should maintain absolute silence while taking food. You are not expected to chat unnecessarily with the people around the table. It is acceptable to use cutlery for eating, as many foods such as Indian breads and curry are best enjoyed when eating with the hand. We make a cone out of our roti and we scoop the liquids in that cone and then we eat. No cutlery or crockery is required for Indian foods actually. But in the modern day dining, it becomes little less messier if you use the cutlery and crockery. Wash hands as they are not as they are to be used for many Indian foods. Before you start eating, please wash your hands nicely because you're going to be using hands a great deal. Wash hands after food if you have used them extensively. In North India, when eating curry, the gravy must not be allowed to stain the fingers up to your knuckle. The first knuckle. This is the only space that you are allowed to stain. The food should never rise the first knuckle. However, in South India, it is acceptable to use more of your hand. In South India, they use, and in East India, they use the whole hand for eating. When flatbreads such as chapati, roti, or naan are served with the meal, it is acceptable and expected to use pieces of them to gather food and sop up gravies and curries. The cardinal rule of dining is to always use the right hand when eating or receiving food and never the left, as it is considered unclean. Never the left hand, it is considered to be unclean. Always the right hand for eating, unless of course you are left-handed. In South India, it's considered unorthodox to use spoon or fingers to share food from someone else's plate unless you've started using your own. Instead, ask for a clean spoon to transfer the food to your plate from the common dish. When eating with hands, always eat with the right, as mentioned above. However, use only the other clean hand to transfer food from a common dish on the table. It is necessary to taste each and every dish prepared, but you should finish everything on the plate as it is considered a respect for served food. Footwear may not be worn in Indian homes while eating as they are considered unhygienic. Having completed etiquettes and dining etiquettes, we will now move on to the third aspect of today's presentation, which is dressing sense. We must dress nicely, suit every occasion. Is how you are dressing propelling you forward in your career or holding you back? Please ask yourself this question. Did you know that how you dress influences what people think about you? It may not seem fair, but you are judged every day simply on how you look. Your clothes and grooming are sending a message, and you, as the image creator, have control of the message being sent. Men who dress smart and are well groomed make great first impressions. They are the men who get the best jobs and promotions. Grooming is fundamental. Hair clean and styled appropriately. Clean nails, skin, and teeth. Many professionals wear makeup check fragrance and clothing care. Wardrobe. For women, skirted pant, skirts, pants, suit, blouse, or dress shirt, sari. Avoid Punjabi suits for formal interview. Clean, well-maintained dress shoes. For men, suit, dress shirt, tie, and well-maintained dress shoes. Basic wardrobe checklist. Navy blue blazer, one pair of high quality khaki trousers, one pair of high quality grey trousers, one dark suit, navy or charcoal grey, one white dress shirt, five basic dress shirts, color and conservative patterns, five high quality ties, bright colored and sophisticated, black cap toe and or wingtip lace up shoes, black shoes with grey or black shades. Always wear an undershirt while wearing a dress shirt. 2-button versus 3-button suit jackets. Worsted wool is the men's best friend. Belts must match the shoes, brown or black. Socks are more important than we think. Pay attention to the socks color of the socks that you're wearing. Watch with a leather or metal band. Lapel pin, not lapel pins, and on the left lapel only. Leather portfolio and pen. Body language. Body language is a broad term for forms of communication using body movements or gestures instead of or in addition to sounds, verbal language, or other forms of communication. Having completed the third part of this presentation, we are now on to the fourth part, which is about body language. I request all the attendees to please read, make notes, and to listen carefully. Body language is a broad term for forms of communication using body movements or gestures instead of or in addition to sounds, verbal language, or other forms of communication. So we communicate by moving our body. This is how we communicate without using sounds, language, or any other forms of communication. It forms part of the category of paralanguage, which describes all forms of human communication that are not verbal language. This includes the most subtle of movements that many people are not aware of. So even the lifting of the eyebrows, like I just showed you, can communicate surprise or shock, or opening of the mouth can communicate things, So even if you're not aware, even when you're not aware, you're communicating, and the person sitting across you is reading the communication as he understand and he's understanding. Body language is responsible for 55% of all language. Please be careful. Please control your body language. This includes the most subtle of movements that many people are not aware of, including winking and slight movement of the eyebrows. In addition, be noticed about your facial expressions. Voluntary body language refers to movement, gestures, and poses intentionally made by a person. For example, conscious smiling, hand movements, and imitation. It can apply to many types of soundless communication. Generally, movement made with full or partial intention and an understanding of what it communicates can be voluntary. Involuntary body language quite often takes the form of facial expression and has therefore been used as a means to identify the emotions of a person with whom one is communicating. Intensity levels of face-to-face meetings can range from mild to severe, and often in the heat of the moment, participants unwittingly give away their feelings by unconscious displays of body language. Understanding this spoken but very readable language can give you an edge over many situations. Please mark my words. Control your body language. Some examples of body language. In our daily lives, we encounter many forms of body language gestures. These are some examples. Stress. So how does the body language for stress works? Shaking of legs. So if the person sitting next to you is shaking his legs, please understand he is stressed. He is under stress. So deal with him accordingly. Lying. Turning the face away. When somebody turns the face away, no eye contact or looking on the left, please understand that he is lying to you. That he is fabricating information. Aggression. How does one display aggression by body language? Clenched fists and shivering, slight shivering. Aggression. Squaring of the shoulders, stiffening of posture, or tensing of muscle. This is how you show aggression. Anxiety. Massaging temples. Anxiety. Different than normal breathing rates. Hunched shoulders. Nervous movements. All these show anxiety. And shut off his crossed arms or crossed legs. I am shutting myself off from you by crossing my arms in front of you. So do not cross arms when in public. Do not cross arms. It means you are shutting yourself off from them. Such a person is not an ally and may be considering contentious tactics. How to make use of this body language? When you see such body signals, you need to adjust your presentation to fit a holistic situation. If, for instance, you are negotiating salary with your boss or supervisor, when you notice these signals, realize that he or she is not thinking favorably. And unless you overcome that feeling, your raise would be out of the question. There are some more interpretations of non-verbal behavior. Brisk, erect walk indicates confidence. Standing with hands on hips indicates readiness, aggression. Hands on the hips. Readiness, aggression. Sitting with legs crossed, foot kicking slightly indicates boredom. Sitting with legs apart indicates open, relaxed. Arms crossed on the chest, defensiveness. Walking with hands in pockets, shoulders hunched, dejection, udas. Hand to cheek, evaluation, testing. Touching slightly, rubbing nose, rejection, dejection. Some more. Improving your body language. Improving your body language can make a big difference in your people skills, attractiveness, and general mood. There is no specific advice on how to use your body language. What you do might be interpreted in several ways depending on the setting and who you're talking to. You will probably want to use your body language differently when talking to your boss, and differently when you talk to the girl or the person who you are interviewing. First, to change your body language, you must be aware of your body language. You see, the biggest solution to solving a problem is identifying the problem. Once the problem is identified, it can be easily solved. So we go to the doctor, we give him 500 rupees, we spend 2 minutes with him, and we come out happy. Why do we give him such a lot of money? Just because he helps us in identifying our problem. And for that, he charges us an amazing amount just for identifying the problem. So the first thing you need to do about body language is to be aware of your body language, to know your body language. Notice how you sit, notice how you stand, how you use your hands and legs, what you do while you're talking to others. You might want to practice it in front of the mirror. It might seem silly, but no one is watching you. This will give you good feedback on how you look to other people and give you an opportunity to practice a bit before going out into the world. Another tip is to close your eyes and visualize how you would stand and sit to feel confident. Open and say whatever you want to communicate. See yourself as that version of yourself, then try it out. Put yourself in the other man's shoes and then do it. You might also want to observe friends, role models, movie stars, or other people you think have good language. Observe what they do and what you don't. Take bits and pieces you like from different people. Try using what you can learn from them. Some of these tips might seem like you are faking something, but fake it until you make it. Fake it until you make it is a useful way to learn something new. And remember, feelings work backwards too. If you smile a bit more, you'll feel happier. If you sit up straight, you will feel more energetic and in control. If you slow down your movements, you'll feel calmer. Your feelings will exactly reinforce your new behaviors and feelings of weirdness will dissipate. In the beginning, easy it's to exaggerate your body language in such a way that you sit with your legs almost ridiculously far apart. So in the beginning, you sit with your legs far apart and see yourself how you look, and then use different poses and then correct your body posture accordingly. Improving your body language, please excuse me if I'm repeating myself. Do not cross your arms or legs. Have eye contact, but do not stare. Don't be afraid to take up some space. Relax your shoulders. Nod when they are talking. Smile. Don't slouch, sit up straight. Don't slouch, sit up straight like this. And don't slouch or slouch. This is extreme slouching, but I am allowed to do that. My seniority, my bullish nature. Lean, but not too much. Smile and laugh. Lighten up. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't touch your face. It might make you look funny. Keep your head up. Slow down a bit. This goes for many things. Don't fidget. Try to avoid phase out or transform fidgety movements and nervous tics such as shaking your leg or tapping your fingers against the table rapidly. Use hands more confidently instead of fidgeting with your hands and scratching your face. Use them to communicate what you are trying to say. Lower your drink. Don't hold your drink in front of the chest. Realize where your spine ends. Keep your whole spine straight and aligned for better posture. Don't stand too close. Let people have their personal space. Don't invade in. Mirror. Often when you get along with a person, in order to get a good connection, you must mirror him. You must do proactive mirroring. And the last point, keep a good attitude, positive, open, and relaxed. You can change your body language, but as all new habits, it takes a while. Especially things like keeping your head up might take time to correct if you have spent thousands of days looking at your feet. And if you try and change too many things at once, it might become confusing and feel overwhelming. Take a couple of these body language bits to work on every day for 3 to 4 weeks. By then, they should have developed into new habits and something you'll do without even thinking about it. See, practice makes perfect. You fake it till you make it for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you will understand the body language and you will be able to master it and control it. Give yourself time. Learn, unlearn, learn and unlearn. Some interview techniques. No matter where you went to school, no matter what you scored in your graduation, no matter how much experience you have, no matter who you know, if you aren't able to interview successfully, you won't get the job. Like I said earlier, 55% of our communication is non-verbal, and that is what the interviewer is looking at more than your knowledge, your experience, or your grades in school. Some interview techniques. Competitive interview preparation. No, you can't cram the night before and ace your interview. Take the time to fully prepare yourself for interview success. And now that every one of us is at home, we must practice. And a simple thing like my introduction, people make so many mistakes. Your introduction, we are not asking you a very technical question. So what you do is you write your introduction, memorize it, and then say it in front of the mirror as if you were saying to the interviewer. Practice. You cannot prepare just one night before the interview. You need to have an interview book in which all the important points are written. All the interview questions are written and their answers. And you must read throughout the year, not just 1 or 2 days before the interview. Mastering the interview. What really counts in an interview and how to master your next one. Dressing for interview. Campus fashions don't cut in. You must dress up properly. Formally, like I showed you in the second part of this. Standard entry-level interview questions. Review the most common interview questions in preparation for your interview. Candidate interview questions. The interviewer is not the only one who should be asking the questions. You should be participating as well. Job fair success. The reality of the job fair meet markets and how to rise above the crowds. On-campus interviewing, how to choose the best companies to interview with on campus and make each count. Phone success interview, it is not just another phone call interview. Prepare properly so that it will last. Moving on, company side interview success. The company side interview is your moment of truth. This is usually your make or break for getting an offer. After the interview, don't sit by the phone waiting for the offer after the interview. Do your part to generate other job offers. How not to interview. What you shouldn't do when you're interviewing. Here are a few selection of blunders, mistakes and errors for candidate for employment. Spend time preparing to interview. When I have to interview people, I I sit down, I write questions, I write counter questions, I read syllabuses, I read profiles of the people, and then I frame more questions and I keep a bundle of questions that I need to ask, note from the candidate, and then I go for the interview. I just don't walk in. The top 10 interview blunders: don't prepare. Background information including company history, locations, divisions, and a mission statement are available in an About Us section of most company websites. Review it ahead of time, then print it out and read it over just before your interview to refresh your memory. Dress appropriately. Poor communication skills. Too much communication. Talk too much. Don't talk enough. Fuzzy facts. Give the wrong answer. Take time. Bad mouthing past employers. Never. And last but not the least, forget to follow up. Follow up with a thank you note. What is not appropriate, not correct, no swearing. By God, Jesus, I swear, these kind of things not allowed. No loud or obnoxious behavior, no crude comments or topics. Subjects to avoid: health, gossip, love life, politics, religion, race, and inappropriate stories or jokes. Please avoid these things. I'll repeat, don't talk about health, gossip, love life, politics, religion, race, or inappropriate jokes, stories.
We are
We are
now
now
coming to a
coming to a
close.
close.
It was
It
very
was very
nice having
nice
you
having
with
you.
us. We thank you for your efforts to be progressive. The fact that you are making efforts to improve yourselves is appreciated. Our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, had said yesterday, we must take this C-19 menace as an opportunity to turn the face of our nation, to treat it as a turning point to become self-dependent. I repeat, quotes, we must make this C-19 menace an opportunity to turn the face of our nation, to treat it as a turning point to become self-dependent. So, people, educate yourselves, turn yourselves into professionals. If you're already a professional, turn yourselves into a better professional. Gather all the ammunition to be able to stand firmly on your own feet, become a professional as soon as the opportunity comes your way. This menace is not going to last for long, but when it does, you should be ready like a coiled spring. Spring into action the minute the menace goes away. In a recent notification from the Honorable Minister of Education, Mr. Nishank, it was said that only final year exams will be conducted by the affiliating body. All others, students of the first year, second year, pre-final year, all others will be promoted to the next semester on the basis of average of internal exams of the current semester and their performance in the previous semester. So 50% internal exams and 50% on the basis of your performance in the previous semester. As such, your faculty and the management of IHM Meerut are watching you, closely watching you, judging you, and giving you marks for all your efforts to improve yourselves. My advice to you in the end is just that please take life seriously, educate yourselves, do various courses, learn a new language, perhaps get into computer programming, learn some software, some programming things in the computer, and become better people. Tomorrow is about online education, and you should not suffer because of this change that COVID-19 has brought into our lives. Moving on.
The last part, the sixth part of our presentation, and the most important part of our presentation is about networking. COVID-19 has shown us that we may not be allowed to move around, meet people, but when we are not allowed to move and physically meet people, that doesn't mean that we don't know about them, we don't network. That today most of companies are surviving because of this feature, networking. Break out of your comfort zone. The golden rule is mingle, 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 mingle. Meet new people, meet new people, meet new people, meet new people, meet new people. Don't travel with your friends. When you travel with your friends, you don't need to meet anybody. And people don't approach you because you are already with a group of friends. So, mingle, 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 mingle means travel alone so that you can meet more people. Don't make direct eye contact, smile, and speak. Contribute positively to the conversation with your thoughts and open ended questions. Open ended questions, don't you think so? Do you think I'm right? Kind of so that you do not sternly say, this is how things should be. Don't monopolize somebody's time. If appropriate, collect business cards. Politely excuse yourself and move on to the next individual. Don't spend the entire dinner with one or two people. Try to cover as many people as you can. Meet, mingle, 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 mingle. With that, we come to a close to this presentation. I sincerely hoped that it was well worth your time. I thank the gods for making this presentation error-free and trouble-free, to the rain gods for holding rain, and now they can unleash all thunder and lightning and rain that the presentation is over. I thank the management of IHM Meerut, the faculty and staff of IHM Meerut for making all this learning possible. In the end, just before I leave, I would like to wish all of you well, and please understand that the blessings of IHM Meerut are upon you always. Have faith in the institution, have faith in the management, and I can promise you everything will be good. Bye bye. Take care. Be safe. I invoke the blessings of gods, that may God make this presentation obstruction free